Hello, everyone. Hi, subscribers, random viewers, and of course, my lovely haters. Welcome back to another quote-unquote normal video. Today, I'm here to do a mid-season ranking of the contestants in Season 2, which is kind of weird since we are pretty much at the end of the season. But I was planning to do this video after Episode 6 because people told me there would be a break, but then Episodes 7 and 8 came out, so I had to scrap everything and re-record. But here we are. So here is how I'm going to rank them. I'm going to look into how enjoyable they have been so far, and any changes from Season 1, both good and bad. I also want to see how much impact they have had. I kind of made this chart of how big of a part they had in each episode. This is, of course, my opinion. For example, Z is very funny and might be A tier for personality. However, his presence in the season is not so A worthy. And lastly, my personal bias will, of course, have a big part in their rankings. So as usual, before we start, this video will have a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't watched this season yet, then you should definitely not be here, but I appreciate the support. So I'm going to first go in elimination order until Episode 8, because that's what we have so far. Then I will do the remaining players in alphabetical order. So now that you know the structure of the video, let's begin. So first up, we have Scary Girl, or should I say Normal Girl. If I'm honest, I really like the idea of Normal Girl. However, I think they really executed this badly because she barely did anything. I know they wanted a first boot, but they gave her a whole new personality and an outfit change, and then barely expanded beyond that. It kind of felt like wasted potential. Then we had her elimination, which I thought was super BS. As we know that Chef usually tells the team who is on the chopping block, I felt like Scary Girl did not deserve to be called as an option because she did nothing wrong. All she did was follow the hockey bros and got eliminated with them. It should have been Wayne called as an option instead of her because he unintentionally caused 3 eliminations during the challenge for the team. But in the end, her elimination made sense and it was reasonable, but they could make it make more sense if she, for example, would slowly crack up during the challenge, maybe even sabotage her own team. So I sadly have to rank her F tier because she only lasted 1 episode and there wasn't much we could judge her on despite the new personality and all that. As I have said a million times, Scary Girl is a gimmicky character and they can kick her off basically whenever they want because she doesn't have a big role in the story. Her purpose is to be weird, and I hope she comes back as Scary Girl in the finale. Next, we have Chase, and there is not much I can say about him this season as he only lasted 2 episodes, and that's what makes me like him more this season than the last one. I didn't like him because he was annoying, very egotistical, and delusional, which was his purpose. Not much changed between the seasons. He basically was the same person. I did like the way he got eliminated because it showed how egoistic he was, and it was mainly caused by Emma, which I liked. But if I'm going to be honest, I also have to put him in F, because that's where he was last season, and I don't think he improved anything. Next, we have Millie, and this might be a controversial opinion to have, but I love Millie, #StopTheMillieHate. But yeah, I think Millie is iconic. Remember that time she just took immunity from Pria, or when she said this?
Yeah, the finish line!
Even though her journey in Season 2 was very short, she had a very big presence out of all the early boots. We all kind of expected Millie to be an early elimination this season because she made it to the end last season and had her own story with Pria. I did not think they would or could do more, but despite being eliminated in Episode 3, she managed to get her own little storyline with Damian, which is impressive. If I'm going to be honest, I kind of enjoyed Millie more in Season 2 than in Season 1, mainly because I saw growth in her. Last season, she barely wanted to play or participate. This time, she was very active and determined to win the challenges. Even if she kind of flopped at it, it's the determination that matters. Can you imagine if she was in the skunk butts and pushed, for example, Bowie into the 4-point slide? We could get a Millie, Julia, and MK trio. Hello? Don't you guys want a Millie villain era? So from my heart, I would rank Millie A tier. I know that's shocking and weird, but I love Millie. But for the sake of this video and public outlash, I will sadly have to put her in C tier. But she is going to be on top of the C tier no matter who else is about to come. No one can top Millie. Millie is the top and everyone else are bottom. Okay, that kind of sounded weird. Now we have Emma. Last season, she was glued to Bowie and Chase. This time, none of them were on her team, so she was free. I do like the Emma we saw in Episodes 1 and 2. She was very active and had a decent presence, especially when she got in Chase's head. However, since Chase left early and Emma didn't have anyone else, she kind of became a background character, which I was afraid of. My biggest issue with Emma was in episode 4. I know they wanted her to be eliminated, but they made it very obvious, and that whole I'm a people person kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't like that she was so desperate to do everything by herself, especially since she has been doing well in team settings. Then she threw that little temper tantrum, which I didn't like. I get that she was a little bit mad and felt betrayed by Pria, and we have seen emotions causing her to lose it for the team before. But I don't know, that tantrum for me felt a little bit childish. So worth that said, I have to put her in E for Emma, I guess, mostly because of episode 4, and that she was kind of an early elimination, so we couldn't see her full potential. I know a lot of people think that Pria should have gone home in episode 4 because she was the ultimate cause of their loss. But if it wasn't for Pria, they would not even make it halfway through the bridge. Emma lost 3 of her own team members in a row and then threw a tantrum and refused to participate. I think if you look at the whole picture as a whole, Emma deserved to go home that episode. And it was smart of Pria to go all in on Emma, because if they lost, she could just blame her. Here we go with Nichelle again. Every time I hype her up, this happens. But Nichelle flopped. So after the leak came out of the first episode back in June, we all saw that Nichelle won it for her team. I was one of the delusional people and thought, okay, Nichelle, I see you. You are definitely here to play and are going to win. I even made her my prediction winner, and now I just look dumb. When I saw Nichelle in episode 1, I saw that she had improved as a character, but I missed a crucial red flag, which was that she never had screen time. She was mostly seen in the confessional and just popped up at the end during the challenge. That was a red flag, which I completely ignored because that was pretty much a recurring theme of Nichelle. She just appeared on screen, did a cool trick, and then did a confessional talking about Hollywood. That is all Nichelle did this season. You could probably switch between every confessional and no one would notice. I honestly think 75% of her screen time and line distribution was in the confessional. A big issue I had with Nichelle was the lack of interaction with other people. She was almost never seen talking with anyone. Yes, she did team up with Damian in episode 3 for a short period. Then she had that little fight with Julia, and that's it. 2 interactions, congratulations, Nichelle. 5 episodes and 2 interactions, no one does it like her? No, but Nichelle's whole thing was that she did well in challenges. That's it. I'm so disappointed in her. She flopped. I don't know why this makes me so annoyed, but I'm gonna have to put Nichelle in the F tier. That hurts, but I think that's what she deserves because she somehow made me more annoyed at her than liking her. Like, can we get Jerry instead? I know he would not quit. I know he would make alliances, find the idol, and win the season. He would team up with Millie and Ripper, and I know they would be able to take down Julia and Pria. Hashtag Jerry for season 3. After half of the girls have left the show, we finally have a boy again, and Bowie is up next. He was last season's runner-up, but this time he got eliminated at the merge and placed 11th. I thought he was pretty mid this season since they toned down the game strategy and villainous in him. I did like that they added the conflict of him choosing between cheating and winning or pleasing Raj. He and Raj have also been pretty cute this season. I think out of every couple this season, they are pretty much the most normal ones, as they had like no issues except the cheating, which got resolved after like 30 seconds. I actually don't know what to say about Bowie because most of what I'm saying about him is about Raj. I don't really love him, but I also don't hate him. For me, he is very much in the middle, and I don't know why. He wasn't as good as last season as I put him in the A tier, so he is going to be in the C tier. Look at him joining Millie in the C tier, and since it's Millie, Bowie is sadly going to have to be behind her. Next, we have Axel, and I had very big hopes for Axel this season. When I saw her in episode 1, she said that she wanted to make more allies, so I was hoping that we would get a social strategy queen. But then all the scenes she had in episode 1 were just with Ripper, and then in episode 2, it was revealed that Ripper had a crush on her, and I figured, oh, they are choosing this path for her, which was interesting. I liked the build-up for her and Ripper's relationship. It started off like there was no way Axel would like him back, but then she slowly started to open up a little, and then the poem came, and that was so cute. But after that, they just kissed, and kissed until they got eliminated, and I did not like that phase. As for Axel, if you are looking at her without Ripper, she was basically a background character. If you look at my chart here, I think her impact was rather low. She was 100% written as a support to make Ripper get his redemption arc, which is kind of sad because there was so much potential in Axel. I always thought Axel would do decent in challenges, and she didn't even do that well in them. I think with the combination of both Pria and Nichelle in her team, they kind of overshadowed her in challenge performances, especially in episode 5. I think my biggest issue with Axel is that I think they did not know what to do with her after she and Ripper got together. In episode 6, she was focused more on the challenge than Ripper, and I liked that. I thought, okay, she still knows it is a game, and that is her priority. But then the next episode, she just ditches the challenge to be with Ripper, and I was like, this is not the same person from the last episode. With that said, I sadly have to rank Axel at E tier, which sucks because I wanted her higher. Then we have Axel's boyfriend, and you guys know how I felt about Ripper last season. Mostly because of the constant farting and his alpha male personality, he was a no for me. But that somehow managed to vanish this season, so that was already a point to Ripper. I kind of knew they were aiming for a redemption arc for him this season, which he kind of got. So Ripper's main thing this season was his relationship with Axel, and one reason I would rank Ripper a little bit higher on that aspect is because he was the one who did it entertaining and the one who pursued it. I liked how hard he tried to get her attention, as well as being so public about it. If this was last season, he would go to her, fart in her face, and ask if she likes him or not. And if she said no, he would fart on her again until she fainted. This time, he asked his team members for advice and took an interest in what she liked, and look how that turned out, so good job, Ripper. As I mentioned, my 2 biggest issues were resolved this season. I think he only farted once, and it was the sap thingy with Axel. And that wasn't even that disgusting. It was more humorous. Then we have this alpha male personality, which vanished because he is now a girly pop, and in my headcanon, he is a Swiftie. He respects women now, for example, in the way he treats Axel, and during the snowball fight, he chooses the girls instead of the boys, a true women supporter that Ripper is. So with that, I surprisingly will put Ripper in C tier, and he is going to be next to his new bestie Millie. Sorry, Pria! The old Ripper is gone. I hope that his heart didn't get that broken after his elimination, and he returns to the old Ripper because I like this new girly pop Ripper. Next is our boy Z, and I'm very conflicted about where I'm going to put Z. On one hand, I like Z as a character and think he is very funny, so solely on that, he is an A. However, looking at him in Season 2, he was pretty useless in the first 4 episodes, and that really brings his ratings down. What I really liked about Z in Season 1 was that he was very unexpected and so random. Sometimes this randomness played a role in the challenges, and he might have unexpectedly performed well in some challenges like the eating episode and catapult launch challenge. I didn't see any of that in Season 2, which kind of took away the unexpected quirk from Z. Now we come to his main plus, which is that he finally got into a storyline, the Pria and Caleb one, and it started in episode 5. There he had his first and major moments where he almost slipped out Priya's secret during the challenge, and next episode he gets Caleb's side of the story before he develops real feelings for Pria. The climax comes in episode 8, where he tells Pria Caleb's first initial plan. I liked what his role was and how it built up, but I didn't like how little effect it had. It played kind of a big part in episode 5, but in episode 6, he got the information at the start of the episodes, and that's it for Z for that episode. Then in episode 7, he is an NPC with like 3 lines in the whole episode. And then boom, we have episode 8 where everything unfolds. So it was like something, nothing, nothing, and finally boom. So I don't know if I'm going to put him in C or E. I feel like C is going to be full soon, so I might just have to put him in E, since there is no D tier. But he is going to be on top of E. I don't think he is bad. I'm just a little bit disappointed, and I think they could have done more with Z. Now we are going to the remaining players, and first up is Caleb. As we thought after he got first booted in Season 1, he would get much more screen time this season. I just didn't expect this much. I personally wanted and thought he would be like a villain, but after seeing him wanting an alliance with Pria, I saw that he wants to win, and that's what I like. I do like Caleb. A lot of people say he is boring and has no personality. He does. It's just not as outgoing as the others. Out of the cast, he is probably the most normal person in the cast, except for his body, because I can't sadly relate to that. He is not the most exciting to look at as a character. What makes him interesting is his storyline with Pria, which I like. I know so many people do not like this storyline, especially since Pria is in it and many people want her gone since she won last season. I understand that, but since I am biased, Pria can stay as long as she wants. I do like these storylines where they focus so much on winning and then find something else they want, so they kind of have to choose between winning or dreams. Pria kind of had the same storyline last season where she focused on winning. However, she didn't really have a conflict, which made it kind of boring, but here we have one, which is love, which makes it more interesting and dramatic. We are currently at episode 8 where the climax starts, so I'm going to put him in C for now, C for Caleb. His final ranking will be based on what happens in the next few episodes. If he behaves, he might get into A tier. If he doesn't, he might fall all the way down to E or even F. Now we have Damian, someone else I'm very conflicted about because some days I want to put him in A, some days it falls down all the way to E, and other days it's just a C. And today is one of the days I feel like Damian deserves a C. Yesterday I felt like he was an E character. What makes me so indecisive is that Damian is either there or not there at all. And then he got the idol as well, which I kind of have mixed feelings about as well. So let's look at the chart I made, and this is what I am talking about. So first episode, he was kind of irrelevant. Then he had his little mini arc with Millie. And then he vanished again until episode 6, where he suddenly felt the need to get immunity for some reason. Next episode, he got the immunity idol, and I thought in this is the start of the Damian dominating era. But he then suddenly became a background character in episode 8 again. I mean, it's good that he has so many different arcs, but it's not so consistent. It's like they are spinning a wheel to decide how much screen time and what storyline Damian gets in this episode. I do think now that he has the idol and with fewer people remaining, Damian will get his moment to shine. I am kind of mean, but I really want his idol to fail or somehow get stolen. I know Julia is still in the game, and I want her to somehow either find or steal it from him and then tell everyone he had it, which is predictable and makes Julia even more OP than she already is. My thing with Damian is that, as of now, he doesn't seem to be anyone's target and could easily sneak his way to the finale with or without the idol, so I think he found it was kind of random. But this just means Damian will probably get some more story in the later episodes. I do think if someone is going to defeat Julia, in the end, it's going to either be him or one of the hockey boys. The only reason I'm leaning more towards Damian is because he is aware of Julia as well, the only one who has beaten her this season so far. Okay, it's Julia's turn, and you know how I feel about Julia. It might be obvious with the amount of Julia content I'm posting, but Julia is going straight to the S tier, and I have made rules that only one person can be in the S tier, and that spot belongs to Julia. What I like about Julia is that she knows what she is and embraces it well. I like an honest person who is not afraid to tell what's on their mind. She is also mean, which stands out among the crowd since almost everyone in the cast is nice or leaning toward the good side. So it's good to have someone on the evil side, and I mean far on the evil side. She is also a villain that is entertaining to watch, and that gives her a big plus. My favorite thing about Julia is that she is a real game player, and she is in it to win it. She is aware of her position. Despite being a villain, she has some social capital, which was shown in episode 6, and she is one of the fiercest competitors this season. I feel like out of this new cast, most of them don't think strategically. I would say that it's mostly Julia, Pria, and Bowie, who are on the strategic side, followed by MK and Caleb. The rest are just there. This is why I would personally root for and be okay with a Julia win despite the cheating, but it is a cartoon. I might be in Delulu land, but I still think Julia has a shot of winning. At this point, she is probably guaranteed the final 2, unless Pria makes it again, which is unlikely. I feel like the finale is going to be everyone against Julia with only MK on her side, and it's going to be one of the most bittersweet endings of total drama history, and that's why we are going to have a season 3 to make up for that ending. Of course, we have to also talk about the negatives, and my only critical point about Julia is that she is too powerful. I think the reason it seems like that is that she does something and just tells us in the confessional, and we didn't actually see it happen. For example, convincing the rat faces to eliminate Bowie, which is possible, but I would really want to see how convinced Damian and Pria were. Speaking of Bowie, now that Bowie is gone, no one is going to actively go against Julia before it's too late. That's why I think Julia will easily make it to the finale without any problem, and then get beaten at the final moment since she is basically the final boss of the season. Good that MK is next, because then I can talk more about MK Julia. So where should we start? So I like MK, always have been, because she has been one of the more interesting characters of the reboot. So they gave MK a new storyline for season 2, which was the cheating one, where she dressed up as an intern to get some advantages for her team. I have mixed feelings about cheating, as it was fun to watch, but my biggest issue with it was they skipped challenges instead of getting a few advantages to just get them a little bit ahead. This was mainly in episodes 3 and 5. I did like this MK, but then she got exposed in episode 6, and here is where my feelings turned around a little on MK. I feel like ever since she got exposed, she has kinda not been the MK we used to know, mainly because she is now, I would say, a flop in terms of challenges and story writing, because she has been performing pretty poorly lately. At this point, she is just Chris's toy he can play with when he is bored, so that's why I'm gonna put her in C tier, sadly. I get that MK cheated, so her treatment might be a little bit deserved. I just feel like they don't know what to do with MK now that she can't cheat, especially when she is away from Julia. I don't think it looks good for MK, and she might leave soon, but we never know, and she might surprise us and end up in the finale. Now let's talk about MK Julia. Let's just say that in terms of a couple and getting married, I don't think it's gonna happen. Is this where you all call me homophobic and I get canceled on Twitter for the 10th time this month? But I do something that might develop between her and Julia, mostly because Julia's reaction to MK lately has been suspicious. Does Julia really like MK, or is she planning to backstab MK? We have seen Julia succeed without MK's presence, but I can't say the same for MK. My prediction is that Julia only wants to keep MK as long as possible, but is gonna need to sacrifice MK if needed because Julia is here to win. And honestly, I don't even think MK will even care if Julia betrays her. She will probably think it's cool and like her even more. But I wouldn't mind seeing MK getting pissed at Julia, and no, I'm not crossing my fingers right now. Now we have another controversial opinion, and that is that I like Pria. It kind of feels like Pria is this season's Millie when it comes to public opinion, because I have seen so many people dislike Pria this season. I get that Pria might get a little bit too much screen time, especially since she made it to the end and won last season. And it's understandable that maybe that screen time should go to other people who need more, like Damian and Wayne. But I'm not complaining about the Pria screen time. I'm totally here for it. And typically, it would really be weird for me to like someone like Pria because she is basically a Mary Sue, and I despise Sky and Zoe. Like, I really dislike them, but somehow I really adore Pria. I think what I love about Pria this season is that we are getting to know her a little bit more personally this season as opposed to last season, as she was basically a total drama machine. This time, she is more emotionally invested in Caleb rather than focusing on the game. I can agree that they did kind of drag the build up a little bit too long, as it started back in episode 1, and something finally happened in episode 6, and then the climax at 8. I think one thing that made Pria survive the team phase was that she was the team captain and the only real strategist in the team along with Caleb. And if you look at the team without Pria, I have no idea how they would even function, since most of the teams are early boots from season 1, and then there is Z and Millie. I guess Emma could lead them to victory, but I doubt that. However, Pria somehow managed to really unite them, and the team had a very strong synergy and performed well in every challenge. They just had some sneaky opponents and some unfortunate mishaps. Otherwise, I think they would dominate. As for my ranking of Pria, she was an S last season, and with the new rule, I still like her, so I'm gonna have to put her in the A tier. I guess my only minus with Pria is that she spends too much time with Caleb and doesn't interact much with anyone else, especially since Millie went home, but I'm glad Z came into the picture. But this is like a minus to everyone. I feel like everyone has one person they are stuck to the whole season, which kind of restricts the interactions. The same thing happened in season 1. Our second last contestant to rank is Raj, and I want to say that yes, Raj is gay, I know that. There are still people out there who are saying that I think Raj is straight. So I just want to confirm for the last time, Raj is gay. He said it himself, 100% gay, and I'm proud of him. So can the homophobic allegations stop now? So I really like Raj in season 2, since he kind of lacked personality in season 1. But it looks like now he is Bowie's boyfriend as well as his moral compass, which adds a role to him than just Bowie's boyfriend, which I am happy with. I really liked him and Bowie together this season. They were cute and they weren't that attached to each other like Ripper and Axel. Raj could still spend time with Wayne and Bowie could still be with Julia and MK. As I said, I do think Raj has more personality this season, as well as having his own thoughts. Last season, it seemed that Wayne was kind of the leader of them too, but this season, it looks like Raj has taken over that role. I like that Raj is the brain out of the two. He also did decently well without Wayne when he was gone in episode 8, especially when they said in episode 1 that they wouldn't function without each other. Maybe that only applied to Wayne. However, this kind of scares me as if they would have to vote one of them off. As of now, it kind of looks like Raj is more likely to go than Wayne. So I will rank Raj in the A tier, as I think he really deserves it. He was in the C tier last season, and this season he has improved everything I think he was lacking. With that said, it's time to finally go to our final contestant. Lastly, we have Wayne. Last season, Wayne ended up in my A tier. In fact, he was my 6th place in the rankings. But Wayne is stupid and dumb, and I like dumb. That's why he is going to stay in A tier, and I actually like Wayne more than Raj. Is this where those other allegations come in? No, but I think Wayne is really funny, and he is just entertaining to watch. Also, his voice actor has done such a good job voice acting Wayne. My personal top 3 are Lindsay, Anne Maria, and Sugar. And what do they have in common? They are fun, dumb, and entertaining. And I think Wayne really fits into that category. The only thing he is missing is the iconicness. As for how I think it will end for Wayne, I did see that leaked image, so we might have a happy ending for the Wayne fans. And as I said about Raj, he is more likely to go out of the two, and that might be Wayne's ticket to the finale, because I think with one of them gone, no one is going to bother about the other one. Will he win is the question. This is a hard one to answer, because as we have seen, Wayne got his first season 2 solo confessional in episode 8. Yes, episode 8. He does not have a winner edit in my opinion, and if he won, I would be happy, but it would not feel right. But it looks like they are kind of building up a Wayne solo storyline in episode 8, where he kind of flopped, and the chances of him winning do not look that great. So that was my mid-season rankings. I do not know how long this video is, and Happy New Year, I guess. Do you agree with my tier list? The answer is probably no, because I have some crazy takes like Millie and Pria being so high, meanwhile Axel and Z are so low, but I needed someone to fill up that E spot. We couldn't let Emma be alone there. Looking at the tier list and comparing it to season 1, it looks kind of similar, actually. My biggest disappointment is no one other than Nichelle. Who does she have to do this to me every time? I look like an idiot rooting for her and predicting she would win. With all that said, comment your thoughts as well as do your own tier list in the comments down below, because I want to see how weird I am compared to you guys. Also, I'm on TikTok now, so if you want more content and to see my progress on my Total Drama Roblox game, follow me there, because I will be gone the next week and won't really be posting any longer videos next week. It will probably only be shorts and TikToks. Sorry for that, but personal has come in the way. But thanks for watching, and bye!